Bam, bam. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Boss Shot Shells. I'm Jeff Stanfield with the world-famous Andy Shaver.
We dress alike again.
Yes, I know damn well what's happening is your mom is messaging you and saying, hey, Jeff's wearing Boss today, so you need to wear Boss today.
No.
Yep, that's what it's all.
Do you want to check my phone? That's not how it happened at all.
It's working. Smart people think alike. On the line,
that's what it is.
On Skype with us today, our buddy, the man who says a buffalo head tastes as good as any duck in the world, and I think he's definitely full of shit there. My friend from Toronto, Toronto, Rory T. White. Rory, how you doing, bud?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
You're all dressed up, ready to rock and roll.
That's it. Yeah, I'm at the restaurant today.
Really?
Yeah.
Are y'all fully open?
No, we're not. Just because of what we are. We have one entity open. We have a restaurant, a quick service, like grab and go, but there's nobody here.
Why?
But our restaurant's just opened up on Monday night.
Oh,
okay.
Y'all
get a dine-in starting on Monday for the first time since all this shit happened?
No, we've been open and closed over the last 2 years. Been like open, closed, 50% capacity. There's been I think like 3 or 4 lockdowns. I don't know, man. I've stopped counting. To be honest with you,
the 50%, that's horseshit anyway. Like you can't even break even there, right?
Yeah, you have to run it with so little staff, and then it's horrible. I mean, we're lucky. We're in, like I said, we're in a different boat. We're an institution, like a culinary school. So our restaurant's supplied by or staffed by students. Ooh, was it something I said? No. But for everybody else, yeah, it's tough. It's definitely been tough.
You know, it's crazy because we haven't had a lockdown since May of 2020, whenever the hell that started.
I know.
It started in 2020 in March. We were locked down for 6 weeks, basically, in Texas. And things started to open up in the 1st of May. And, hell, everything's normal. I don't even think about going anywhere in a restaurant in Texas. Mm-hmm. It takes fucking forever to get anything to eat anywhere because there's not enough staff.
Yeah, we're in the same sort of problem, staff shortages. I think what it was is people, like, when the first lockdown happened, people were like, well, I still got to pay my rent. And the government was giving that bonus thing. But, like, you know, people walked away, got other jobs, and then they were like, I can make just as much, if not more money, walk away completely, have a normal life. Yeah, I'm going to take it.
Right. Yeah.
So,
have you seen the truckers? Have the truckers gone past you, or are you too far out of the way?
They've gone past me. Yeah, they've gone past me. It's interesting. It's funny because my brother lives in Ottawa, and they're just on the outskirts. But it's funny because there's like this whole like faction of it that's like sort of the ones that are getting all the attention is these like alt-right, like Nazi flag, crazy people. But then there's other people like, yo, we just want to be heard. Like, this is our message. But it's like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the whole thing. They're on their way to Toronto right now. So they're on their way into the city.
I think the news people in America are giving the truckers a good light because they're not showing all this shit. They're showing people.
Thank God.
They're showing real people that are wanting to change and sick and tired of liberal government is what we're seeing on our news. Now, I don't watch the news much, and the clips I get are going to be on Instagram or my wife is sending me something because Michelle's a Q person and she's got her tinfoil hat on, all this stuff. But they're showing the real people, just like the Midwesterners in the United States of America. They're showing the people that are sick of this shit. I saw a bunch of kids in Oregon today walked out of a high school. They're sick and tired of it. And the kid had a good message. He said, don't be disrespectful. He was talking to his peers. He said, don't be disrespectful. He said, tell them that we're not wearing a mask. And he said, they get funded by the state if we're in class. If 240 of us walk out for 3 or 4 days, they're going to lose a bunch of funding right here. And I thought, good for you kids. But I think the truckers in Canada are doing a good thing, and I think it's going to happen in the United States. And I don't know how the Canadian government works other than Trudeau's a real pussy. We all know that. But if they did that in Washington, it wouldn't make a fucking difference because them people aren't in Washington. They don't give a shit about anybody anyways. It's all about themselves, and I'm sure Trudeau's the same way.
It's so true. I mean, if you look at it objectively, how corrupt the whole thing is, like every part of the government. I mean, I'm not going to say too much because, like, I don't know. We could spend a couple hours sitting here talking about how terrible our governments are, but it's infuriating.
I used to think. I mean, no offense. I used to think that Canada was a little wonky in the way they did some shit, but now it's a fucking race between the Canada and the United States and the rest of what we thought was
wonkiest
free
people. Yeah,
to figure out who can fuck this situation up the worst. It's everywhere now.
Big time.
It's all over the globe.
It's not even us anymore. It's everywhere.
No,
yes,
it's everywhere.
It's Spain. It's Europe. It's England. It's Australia, New Zealand. It's everywhere. Yeah. Everywhere we thought was the free world, it's not anymore.
75% of everybody in the world want the same things. We all want the same shit. We don't want war.
I think it's more.
You think it's more than that?
I think it's more than that.
Well, I do.
Kids
are stupid.
Your screams are just louder. Yeah.
Well. Kids are fucking stupid. You shouldn't be able to vote till you're 30, probably. I know it sounds about 25 at least.
I mean, I don't know if kids are stupid or parents are stupid because it takes stupid people to breed stupid people.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of dumb assholes having kids then.
Kids don't know anything. They're taught everything.
They don't know. Yeah, they're unsaved. Yeah, exactly. They're made by nurture, not nature, I think. But
we got way too many parents that think everybody owes them something. These kids today are disrespectful. I mean, I live in a small town, and you would think in a small town you used to have kids that were still respectful and they knew their neighbors and stuff. I see kids come into court 17, 18 years old, and I'm going to say 8 out of 10 of them don't know how to look you in the eye. Yes, sir. No, sir. It just baffles me the difference in just 10 years ago, how the kids acted in 20 years ago to today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it was different. Like if we did something stupid or got in trouble for it, I mean, I got my ass beat. Right.
Well, yeah,
I got snacked. If you did that today, how many? I mean, I don't know. Do you beat your kids? I think sometimes they need it, but I'm not gonna sit there and say that I do it.
Have you seen a shift in the culinary school and the way that you can approach students? Or is it still pretty rough?
I think we're very lucky. I think we're very lucky because it's different because I think it's a college level versus the high school level, you're paying a lot of money to be here. And most of our students are international students. So they're paying a fortune to be here. So they're the hardest working. They're they just want to learn and they want to be a part of things and they want the experience, right? We're selling experiential education. That's our job, right? My job is to make sure you have an amazing experience. So we don't get too many people who are mouthy, obnoxious, annoying.
Right.
We don't. It's just, we're not high school teachers.
But I didn't know if when you went to lean on a kid or, discipline him, and that might not be the right word, but correct him if they would melt.
No, discipline. Yeah, no, we run discipline. We definitely, we have standards, we have expectations, and you are expected to meet those standards and expectations. We don't really have too many I just thinking about what student I had. I think she was on some sort of maybe spectrum, and she was the best. She was honestly my favorite. But she had no filter, so she didn't realize when she offended people.
Right.
So her way of apologizing one time was I told her, you need to apologize for what you said. You need to say sorry. And what she said was, instead of saying sorry, she said, "It was a joke, not a dick. Don't take it so hard." And I was you gotta go. You gotta go. You're my favorite, but you gotta go home. You're done with
it. But kids today, all the young guys I had this year, they all come from families that work, or they were workers.
Yeah.
They didn't have a job description wrote down that if it's not in that job description, you can't expect me to do that. Anything we would ask them to do, they would do. And they were part of the team, and it was really nice and refreshing for me to see a bunch of other young people from other places that come in that worked hard and were part of a team and didn't have to be asked to do something that they didn't expect. Well, that's not part of being a guide, Well, when you work here, you do things that ain't just being a guide, and And that was good to see, because you don't see a lot of that nowadays. Because people today, literally, and I see that all the time, they just want to do what they're supposed to do. No, you hired me to salt French fries and take money at the window. Don't expect me to get drinks. That's not part of my job. You know, that shit wears me out.
Yeah, I think that's corporate culture too, right? Like,
yes.
It's funny. I was listening to a podcast of a restaurant company that you guys have down there that we don't have up here. Have you Raising Cane's?
Yes.
Not my favorite.
I like it. Solid.
So I don't know the food. I don't know anything about them.
Chicken tenders.
It's chicken tenders, right?
Yep. Chicken tenders and
fries. Man, the guy who's their like COO or CEO or I don't know, the owner, CEO, operator, whatever guy, he is just like, his thing is like he just builds culture. And he builds an amazing culture that people want to be in, that promotes people, that, you know, has financial incentives to help people go to college, to move on with their lives. Like working at Cane's is this whole thing. And it's like, he's doing it right. Like if you make an environment where people want to be a part of it, it definitely, you get more out of people.
Right.
I didn't know that. I'm not a big, their chicken's okay. It's just not, I'd rather go to Chick-fil-A
It's a 6 or a 7 out of 10. I mean, it's decent.
We have a thing here
I'll have
called,
it every once a
what about Chicken Express? Is it a good Chicken Express?
I prefer Chicken Express over Raising Cane's.
Chicken Express, I think, is a Southwest deal like we have. I say Southwest, a Texas thing. And it's fried chicken and fucking gravy. Now, who the hell can go wrong with dipping fried chicken in gravy?
No, it's pretty good. That sounds
better than buffalo heads and maple syrup. I'm telling you right now.
We're going to the Metroplex.
You got to eat a buffalo head before you say that.
We're gonna hit up In-N-Out Burger. Have you ever had In-N-Out?
Oh man, I love In-N-Out.
See,
I'm a big. I was in Phoenix a couple weeks ago, and I was in Arizona, and one night I searched out an In-N-Out because I love it. In-N-Out. I love Shake Shack. You guys have all the best burger concepts down there.
See, In-N-Out is like, I like In-N-Out. I don't dislike it. I like Whataburger better, but Whataburger's not the same since they got bought out by that big conglomerate out of Chicago.
Anthony Bourdain has a video on YouTube about In-N-Out. He said, I can post the most elegant picture of a beef Wellington or whatever. He said I could post, me with, you've seen the video? He's like, I post a video with me in a hot tub with Mick Jagger, smoking doobies or whatever, snorting cocaine, and it'll do good on Instagram. But I can post a picture of just an In-N-Out burger with a shake and fries, and my Instagram will just blow up. So if it was good enough for Bourdain, it's good enough for me. It's a culture.
They built the culture, man.
Yep.
That's all it is. Like, if you break it down, like, it's a griddled burger with, like, a white trash bun and it's been toasted. It's so simple, but like you build that culture following, and like, eventually all of those brands hit that expansion where they hit that growth and then they get too big or they get bought out by somebody who's like, we need to take this national. Right. And the best part about In-N-Out, it was like, California only. So it was that whole West Coast. I like In-N-Out a lot. I had In-N-Out when I was in San Francisco about 10 years ago, I guess. Oh man.
So that's what it is. Basically it just collapses under its own weight. It grows too big, and so somebody from the outside takes over and they start fucking around on the inside, and everything just collapses.
And it's a formula, right? Like you build these brands, these concepts, and then you take them to like localized, and you get regionally, then you get bigger and bigger, and you grow outwards. And everybody does the same thing. Everybody goes to like the major area, right? So everybody has one in Vegas. Like you can go to Vegas and hit everything.
Right.
Like, have you ever been to Nashville?
No, I want to go.
I've been there.
So if you ever go to Nashville, there's like, did you go to Hattie B's?
Hell
it's so
yeah.
weird I can only hear Jeff. I can't see him. Well, if you go to Hattie B's.
Well, it's good.
Hattie B's is good. But then you go to Hattie B's in Vegas and it's like,
not Hattie's.
Hattie B, she's going to be the pallbearer at my funeral. That way she can let me down one last time.
That's like going to... what's it on the Strip in L.A.? Is it
in L.A.?
No, in Hollywood. There's a sandwich place, Canner's Deli.
Canner's? I've never been to Hollywood.
Fuck, it's good shit, boy. They had the best tongue sandwich I've ever had in my life there. But then when you go to the Canner's Deli, and I think at the Mirage they have one, it's just not the same. It's like going to Carnegie Deli. The Carnegie Deli in New York is awesome, but you go to Carnegie Deli somewhere else, it's not the same damn thing.
How do you spell it? Canners?
Canters. It's where Canters. I think it's Guns N' Roses used to go there and eat after they play at Whiskey Go Go, and they'd go downtown and they would go eat there. But anyways, it's on Hollywood Boulevard or one of the Rodeo Drive, one of them places. But anyways, we went to it and it was really good.
In LA, you did?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
And it was
that
really
was before you got shanked at La Brea Tar Pit?
That's before I got ran off. Scariest place I've ever been to in my life is La Brea Tar Pits.
Big old
and
pussy.
fucking Debo come at me with a goddamn had a dog and a video recorder. I was fucking scared to death. Some bitch just got back from Iraq. He was threatening to kill everybody, and I believed him.
What? Come on, you're Texas. Didn't you just shoot him?
Big old pussy.
This some bitch was about 6'7" and was mean. And
Come on, man!
crazy.
You didn't have the 9mm equalizer with you?
I was
Get out of here!
I was
Not in LA.
I was not in LA, and I was on a school trip, and we were chaperones. But I did do the
yeah.
right thing. We had another guy with us, this Mexican guy I'm friends with, him and his wife, and I told the decision. I said, you know what? He's Mexican. We'll sacrifice him. So I tried to get him to get off the bus to go to it.
Go up to him and ask him what his problem is.
I said, Mario, you're Mexican. It's not a big deal if you don't make it back. So go find out what his fucking deal is. We called.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, yeah. Mario in front of his kids. Yeah. Tell you what, Jeff. Friends like you, nobody needs an enemy. Fuck me.
This fucker was scary. I'm telling you, fucking cops were gonna tase his ass. This cop got out with a 12-gauge taser. Some bitch looked like one of them old Goose guns, 32-inch barrel on it. I was like,
I have one of those. Mine's a 36. It's hilarious.
I go, that's a big
I had
ass
to take
taser.
it apart to put in the safe.
Yeah.
So you've got a taser like that?
No, one of those old school.
The old school Goose gun.
Marlin Goose gun.
Is it a Mossberg? Marlin. Yeah,
Marlin.
it's a Marlin Goose gun. It's got a 36-inch barrel on it. I have to take the barrel off to get it into my safe.
Yeah,
That's it over there.
Yeah, this guy here had he pulled out a fucking taser that I've never seen in my life. It looked like one of them. I was like, son of a bitch. He told me, he said, we're having a lot of problems with a lot of guys. Now, this was way before everything was really fucked up, so this was just kind of fucked up. He said, we got a lot of people here that are coming back from the Middle East, and he said they're not mentally stable, and he said they're just letting them roam the streets everywhere. I'm telling you, this son of a bitch was freaking, this guy was nuts. So anyways, I was gonna sacrifice Mario for the greater good of all of us. But anyways,
isn't that crazy? Somebody comes back from that, they're like literally been trained and like publicly funded to just become like an apex predator, and then they come back and they're just like turned loose.
This son of a bitch was,
back.
This guy was fucking crazy. But let's talk about Toronto now. One of my favorite Toronto. One of my favorite shows,
Ottawa,
on Netflix is Kim's Convenience, because the old Korean dude, he would have made a damn good Texan. He's not politically correct and he speaks his mind. And I love the old guy. He's funny as shit.
Oh, there's one scene in that show where he like a woman walks into the convenience store asking for tampons and condoms or something. And he's like, I don't think you need either of those.
He calls them,
and he's so awkward about it. But he's like, do you really need these?
Yeah. And, well, the best part
I'm not pregnant. I'm just fat.
Yeah, is when he makes fun of the gays, as he calls them, the gays. Yeah.
He makes fun of everybody.
He's great.
He makes fun of absolutely everybody. He is great. I agree with you.
And it's a real convenience store, you were saying?
Yeah, they like filmed it in a real convenience store. I think it's in the. Someone's gonna correct me on this. I'm not even gonna say it. The last time I said something on this fucking podcast, I got corrected by like one person 100 times.
Oh, we do it all the time.
That's all right.
We get it every show. You get used to it.
Yeah, you just stay out.
Corrections officer. I was like, cool. I mean, the guy made some good points. He's cool. He's a cool guy.
I don't even remember it. So speaking of things out here that are not my job that I had to do, I had to Blake and we got put in charge of cooking beef tenderloin. So it comes in like this huge fucking thing, and you got to separate all this shit.
Blake did not do it right. You did it correct.
What do you mean?
When he skinned it and took the stuff off of it, or whatever you called it,
the chain in the head.
Yes, the chain in the head. Yeah. You don't take the ear off. There's the ear. This is the short side, and the head's the big side. Well, you leave both of those on.
Andy did it the right way because you corrected Blake on how he was doing it.
No. He did it one time. He didn't take the silver skin off one time, and it made it a little tough on the to bite through.
Outside.
But once he did that, it was fine. I should have messaged you. What kind of sauce could we have done with this beef tenderloin? It needed something because it was too it was too rich or something. It was
very good.
It was good, but it needed a sauce.
Yeah, it needs a lot of. I'm not a tenderloin guy.
Right.
Demi, it like demi. I like demi glaze or mushroom. Like a mushroom beef jus is good. You can get away with something like a blend of like beef jus and like cream and like mustard, a lot of herbs, mushrooms, stuff like that is good. You can make like a wicked chimichurri and just do like a wicked chimichurri on top of it.
I like chimichurri. Now let me ask you this. This was my idea. I was going to do balsamic and like honey or something like that. Just throw a bunch of shit in and kind of
sweet and sweet. That's just not my. Oh, actually, you know what? We have bees here. It's too sweet for me. So honey and balsamic mixed together is like, I don't know. It's like that. You make that like it's just a really thick glaze. Yes. If you put it on afterward, it'd be fine. But if you put it on beforehand, you got to think, what's gonna burn.
Well, no, we were gonna have it like as like a like off to the side after it's already cooked.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Was my thinking, but I didn't think about a chimichurri sauce. That would have been nice. I do that on my tri-tip.
Chimichurri on the tri-tip. Have you done skirt steaks yet?
Yeah, no, I have not. Same type deal though. Chimichurri.
Chimichurri, it'll change your life.
Really? And just skirt steak, grill it.
And see, I shouldn't. Someone's gonna message me and be like, "Why would you talk about skirt steaks on the Big Honker podcast?" Now the price of them is gonna go up. But yeah, all of those like off-brand steaks, that are substantially less expensive than your like rib steak, strip loin, or tenderloin, like all of those other ones. Like you get skirts, hangers, vets. Like they're wicked. They have a little bit more chew to them, but they have so much more flavor. Like that muscle, like when you look at a tenderloin, it's on the inside of a cow at the back, right? It's not like a used muscle. That's why it's so soft.
Right.
You know, we could buy it. At Christmas time, I was looking through my rep was here from Cisco, and me and Michelle were going through stuff. And I was looking. I said, what do you got on sale steak wise or something? Because we're different prices. And I said, what about loins? And he looked, and I was thinking about getting a pork loin because they're pretty cheap. Because freaking it was a pain in the ass supply this year on getting food and stuff. Anyways, he goes, oh yeah, we got beef tenderloin for $8.88 a pound. I was like, no shit. I said, so I bought 5 cases of it. Well, hell, we took that shit in about 2 weeks. I bought it again. Yeah. I bought 3 or 4 cases. We cooked it up again. My last order was the week before, so January 23rd or 24th, Christmas time, $8.88, $15.95 a pound by the end of January. Because I was fixing to buy about 10 cases of it and just store it for the summer. Because we just had a whole beef. We just got another whole beef the other day here. And I like the loin because I liked it coming in a little deal. So if I wanted to cook it at home, if it was just me and Michelle and Jesse and Andy came over, it's you're not cooking a whole ribeye.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean, like a big prime rib type deal? Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no, I'm just saying if I wanted to do, I could cook one of the smaller ones for just y'all, 4 or 5 people. Or if we do the ribeye, you can get to cut steaks off of a big bulk ribeye to do it. It's just not as big a pain in the ass.
He never separated the chain in the head.
But I did not separate.
You know what? I don't mind doing the tenderloins. They're pretty fun. And then you take that chain and you can take all the silver skin out of it.
Yep.
And then you can chop that up and use it for something else.
You can do what with it? Hamburgers?
You can grind it, save it for hamburgers, but honestly, like I usually just keep it. So when I go out to put them on the barbecue, the tenderloins on the barbecue, I put the chain on too, and then while I'm outside, it cooks really quick, and I just eat that outside. It's my cooking snack.
You gotta do that.
Exactly.
So how do you? Because they say taste everything, but when you're doing like a steak, you can't just take a fucking cut off of a steak. I mean, you got to pretty much just know that your seasoning and your temperature is fine.
Yeah, you can probe them to like tempt them, but there's like when you're cooking a steak, you have the rare, medium, well, and then if you fold some all the way in, you really fucked up. You know what? Damn it! I meant to set up a sous vide machine because I was going to show you one. I have like 8 of them here.
How long does it take you to?
You and Blake were talking about sous vide machine.
Oh yeah, we were. The water.
Show it to you.
Somebody and
it's a water bath.
That seems like a pain in the ass, and I don't think it would be very good.
What is it now?
You cook it in how hot is the water? Like 200 degrees?
No. It's whatever temperature. So I mean, if you're in, don't trip me up on Celsius, or in Fahrenheit. But I think it's like if you're 145 is a medium rare.
135, 140. That's.
So basically, what I have this saved on my phone. Google has conversion thing. So if I go with 58, 136 is a medium rare. So I'd set the sous vide bath to medium rare or just 136. Drop my steaks in a vacuum sealed bag with herbs like olive oil, butter, garlic, season it, put it in the bag, vacuum seal it, drop it in there, and then the internal temperature of the steak would never go above
136.
136. So it would be medium rare all the way through. So once the internal temperature has gotten all the way through, depending on the size of it, hour and a half, you take them out, let them rest for a second, and then hit them in a hot pan and get that sear on them. Mm-hmm. They're medium rare, perfect all the way through. So it's just like a cheating way.
You're poaching. You're basically poaching the meat, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what you're poaching a water bath. But there's no contact with the water.
That makes sense.
And then, so you just put your herbs and all your spices, and you just kind of put it in there, vacuum seal it, and then in the bath it goes.
In the bath it goes. That's it.
I think I'd fuck it up.
I don't know. You know, speaking of...
you really can't, to be honest with you. The only way you can fuck up a sous vide is if, you don't take it out in time, or you're sous videing something we used to sous vide, lamb necks for, 2 days. But as long as the bag doesn't break, then you won't build bacteria. But what happens is if you sous vide something too low, or and your bag gets air in it, you're basically going to just have a bacteria bath. And then so if you get any contamination in it and you cook for a long time, that's where you run into trouble. But if you're cooking tenderloins, hour and a half, that's all.
So you think about buying one of these things?
Well, I think the guy on YouTube, he cooked a brisket that way for 30 days, and it was rancid by the time he got back to it.
But why would you ever cook something for 30 days? That's just stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. He's probably
we would cook lamb neck for 2 days, and after that, it's it's good.
He was probably just getting.
You can do the 48-hour short ribs too.
Probably just trying to get me to click on it, and I did it. So clickbait is all it was.
I love poached eggs, so I would try that. I don't understand why more people don't have poached eggs. It's got to be a lot healthier for you than a damn fried egg.
It's probably harder to do.
Big time.
Oh, it's not hard to do at all. You boil water, you drop them in the water, and you pull them out.
I'm sure.
Yeah, you put a little bit of vinegar in your water, and that's it.
If you go to Denny's, they're not going to want to fuck with that.
I don't know.
Can you get poached? I think you can get poached eggs at Denny's. I have no idea.
Number one, if you go up to our place where we get breakfast up here,
they eat poached eggs for me.
Yeah, but they don't want to fuck with that, Jeff. Well, they got to boil water, and then they got to make sure they get it out in time.
How hard is it to boil fucking water?
Probably takes.
No, it's pretty. I mean, if you're set up for when we do brunch and stuff here, we just have a big pot in the back of water, and then we do eggs Benedict, right? So eggs Benedict, poached eggs, hollandaise, bacon. Your female bacon.
But if you're not set up for it and you've only got the fucking griddle going, and now all of a sudden you got to
if you cook breakfast, I'm with Jeff on this one. If you cook breakfast poached egg, fried egg, over easy, omelet, scrambled, that's it. That's all you got to do.
But none of they're not set up for it here. They got to go get the pot, and then they got to boil water, and it's a whole production.
See, this is the young generation. Don't want to do anything go out of the way to make your customers happy.
Well, you're asking for something off the menu.
A poached fucking egg is not hard. It's not like I'm asking them to make me some sheep nuts. I'm asking them to boil fucking water.
Might as well be.
Yeah, I'm with Jeff.
So
on this if you're a breakfast restaurant, you don't poach eggs for somebody.
No shit.
Well, right. it's a Mexican joint that poses as a breakfast place.
Andy, you don't have to be racist. This is not my game. I am not a racial person. I see people.
Jeff, it's a Mexican restaurant. They sell quesadillas and fajitas.
When I was in Mexico a couple years ago, that's they poached eggs for everybody because they do that eggs poached in salsa.
Yes,
what's that thing called? That.
Oh, I can't. There's a name for
Huevos con salsa.
I'm gonna have that on.
Is that what it's? Huevos con salsa. Yeah, there you
go. I'm gonna be in Puerto Vallarta Monday, and I will have some of that on Monday probably. I will have.
Is that what you guys are going on your trip?
No, Jeff. This is a pre-trip for Jeff. The schlubs like us got to stay in the Texas, in the United States.
I'd be out of Texas in a heartbeat if I were you.
Yeah.
Man, I'm ready to go to Mexico right now.
Me too.
When are you guys going to Mexico?
24th through the 28th is the big trip. Mom and Jeff they're leaving the country for a week.
We're going to go
24th to the 28th.
Enjoy.
That sounds like a good time.
We're going to go enjoy life with the liberals.
So you should. I would.
Puerto Vallarta, there'll be a lot of people from California and Canada there. There usually is.
Oh yeah, Canadians are the worst. Canadians in Mexico are the worst.
Oh, them fuckers are fun. They get drunk and. You ought to come to Cancun the 24th with us.
I can't. It's goose season for me. That's our goose season opens on the 26th.
Y'all have such weird. So I'm looking. Where is Puerto Vallarta? Oh, it's on the west, huh?
Yes, south of Cabo San Lucas.
Have you ever been there?
Yeah, about 13 times.
Really?
I've been there a bunch.
So is that's the Pacific then, huh?
Mm-hmm. It's a good time.
I'll be damned. Never seen the Pacific Ocean.
You haven't?
Really?
No.
I don't think I have. Yeah. I've never been to.
It looks just like the one on the other side.
Really?
Yeah, it's the same to me. No, actually, it's
Yeah,
not.
I
don't know. I've seen it from the top of America to the bottom, or the United States to the bottom of the United States. I've seen it in Mexico a bunch. It's the same as the fucking ocean.
Just water.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy that you live closer to the Pacific than the Atlantic and you've never seen the Pacific?
It's crazy. Well, I've never had any reason to go there. Never been to California. Never been to Washington. Never been to Oregon. It's my only option. It's my only.
And you
chance.
know what's really funny is that if I had to choose to live somewhere in the United States, I would live in the Northeast. I mean, if just money wasn't an option and I could go live somewhere and have me a place, and I would love to have a place on Nantucket or somewhere in Maine just for the summertime.
No, I'm out.
I would, and then I'd like to have a place in Montana. But there's no place on the West Coast that I would want to live. Oregon is really pretty around Astoria and stuff, and Canyon Beach, that's beautiful up there. Washington State is pretty. California, California, I could see where someone would want to live in the weather around San Diego, but you couldn't pay me to live in Los Angeles.
I was in San Francisco for a couple of days, and I don't think it's ever fair to go somewhere for like a couple of days and then be like, oh, I'd live there. But I liked San Francisco. It was pretty cool. But we were like, I don't know, we hung out with like locals who were kind of our age, my like friends of ours who lived down there. So we like went to like little restaurants and places that were like sort of local spots. It was like kind of cool. Mm-hmm. But like, again, 3 days in and out. So we didn't really get to like experience like the craziness of San Francisco.
Like somebody shitting in the street in front of your house.
Yeah. Like I didn't see any of that. Like, and then we went to like this food tour and like, through like the Latin district, which was super cool. Best tacos I've ever had in my life. Like walked in the back door of some taco place and like it was wild. So like, you want a taco? I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
What's the park there that's famous?
In San Francisco?
Yeah, where all the fucking hippies used to go to.
Oh, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I would probably live in New York if I was gonna live. I don't know.
That would have been my pick pre-COVID. But
pre-COVID.
Now with all the lockdowns and stuff,
New York City's a cool place though. And when I tell people that, they're like, "You like New York? Fuck yeah! Who doesn't like New York City?"
The fucking world runs through New York City.
New York City's an awesome place. I like
like
Boston.
Energy in New York.
Yes,
I like Boston too. I like. You know what? I was actually just in Arizona. I was in Old Scottsdale. Well, we were in Phoenix and then Old Scottsdale, and I liked Scottsdale. I thought it was really cool.
Scottsdale.
Scottsdale was really cool. I don't think it'd be hard. Arizona was cool. I liked everybody I met in Arizona was super cool.
I would pick Flagstaff over Phoenix to live though.
I mean, I've never been to Flagstaff. I don't know. I'd probably live in Texas. I'd just go to Texas.
Yeah, everybody's coming.
There ain't much to look at. I was driving the other day coming back home in the snow and how flat and desolate it looked.
Shouldn't live out here.
And I was looking around and I thought, how in the hell does people pick this place to come live to? They're
quitters, Jeff. They're quitters.
Yeah,
well, not so much Texas, Kansas, Nebraska, that whole area. Everybody hitched their wagon on the East Coast. We're like, we're going to California. We're chasing that gold. They got to Kansas and they're like, kids crying, wife's dead. I'm good here.
Wife's dead.
Good enough.
I'm fucking good enough. I see mountains coming up. Fuck it. I'm good. Good luck, guys.
I don't want to have to shoot this horse. Yeah. This is where this is where the wheel fell off.
Yeah. So Kansas is just full of quitters. Is all it is.
Full of quitters.
It couldn't make it.
Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Montana is another place I would choose to live for. I'll tell you another place that's a beautiful place that I've been to is Vancouver. Is a beautiful city.
Yeah, Vancouver's cool.
But
you know what? The only thing about Vancouver is it's really expensive to live in Vancouver.
I can see that.
It's pretty, but it's very like you're very locked in Vancouver. I don't know. I like Vancouver, but like it's expensive. You get out to the island though. If you get to like Victoria out to Vancouver Island and stuff, it's super cool out there.
I've been to Whistler before, and that's a neat place.
Yeah, it is. It is a neat place. A lot of money in Whistler.
Yeah, not when I was there, or I wasn't the guy with any money there. I was a poor sumbitch of Whistler. I'd walk down the street and people would say, "See that fucker there? He ain't got no money. He ain't got no business being here."
You know what though? I actually went out to Whistler to look for a job, and then I was in Whistler for like a week after my contract had finished at a hotel. and I'd applied for a bunch of jobs here, and like a restaurant company that was like a high-end restaurant company, they called me. They're like, hey, like we have a tryout for you at like this restaurant. I'm like, see you, Whistler. I was on the next thing smoking back. Because they're like, I went out there because a buddy of mine lived out there, and it was like, it's super expensive to live in Whistler. And they're like, they're like, okay, so like if you rent like a bed in this house, like you don't get a room. Like you have a $600 a month, and it's a blow-up mattress behind the couch, and that's where you live. And then there's a guy who like lives on the couch. And then there's like a bedroom, but like two guys share it. I was like,
it's like Aspen.
I don't know.
In Vail.
Oh yeah, exactly.
All the service
exactly
people there live like paupers or like paupers, I guess, and everybody else lives like a prince. I mean, it's a bad deal. Vancouver is a beautiful, beautiful place, though, but it's the only airport I've ever been to where nothing was in English. Everything was in Japanese and Chinese. And
Vancouver?
Fuck yeah. Because that's the gateway from the Orient. Are you allowed to say Orient, or is that a bad word now, too?
I wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Unless you're
I don't know.
Pig.
No. I don't. It's, because I don't know. No, I don't think so.
The Far East? Is that what it is?
Far East, yeah. Southeast, East Asia, yeah, for sure. That is like the major port of entry. For sure, but it's a cool spot. I like Vancouver. I don't know.
How do you have a tryout for a position? What do they like? Bring you guys in and like
walk in
cook off?
Yeah. Not necessarily a cook off. It's just like you go in, you shadow somebody who's working a station. So I went in and shadowed the veg guy for like 3 days, and after like a 3-day sort of tryout, they said, okay, like we'll offer you the job. I got it. It's called a stage. Not so much anymore, but you still most places still do it.
What if you don't want to do vegetables?
You should apply for the job.
Kick rocks, get down the road.
Yeah.
So you knew going into it, like you're gonna shadow the vegetable guy, or you just get to this place and they're like, this is what you're doing.
Yeah, this is what you're doing.
Oh,
veggie be a pretty easy job being the vegetable guy, wouldn't it?
Oh no.
Fuck no. That kitchen was like one of the hardest places I've ever worked in my life.
How so?
It was like a grind. It was you didn't start getting paid till 2:00. At Christmas time, I'd be in at like 9 a.m. pumping it out, and then like they see that you're like, they can get you, like you're there, you're working and stuff. They're like, oh, they'll just put more shit on your list.
Right.
It was a very competitive kitchen. It was a very sought after place at that point to work there. It still is. I'm not going to give them a plug because
right, fuck them. This is a terrible place to work. So do they know that? And they're like, okay, everybody wants to work here. Like we'll just work them like fucking dogs and get every inch out of it we can.
Yeah, at that point, because you cut your teeth there, and like you can basically like stick it to anywhere from there. Like there's certain places where like you go to like especially in Europe, right? If you go to a 1-star Michelin or 2-star Michelin or 3-star Michelin, you go work there for a year, get that under your belt. Work in a couple places like that, come back to Toronto or go anywhere else, even go to New York, work there. If you come back, you can pretty much go anywhere, right? Like it helps you sort of. There's certain restaurants that still have that clout, so if their name is on your resume, it definitely helps you.
Do you ever find yourself going to eat someplace that's like a ma and pa place and being really impressed with the food? Because we ate at a place last year in Sault Ste. Marie. It was just a diner, but the food was really good, but it was just plain food.
Wait, Sault Ste. Marie, like Ontario?
Sault Ste. Marie, we're right across in Michigan, right across the bridge.
What province is it?
It's Ontario. It's in Sault Ste. You were in Sault Ste. Marie?
We were in Michigan though. We were on the smart side. We were on the U.S. side. We wasn't dealing with all them Canucks and those crazy rules.
Yeah. Oh, so you didn't cross over?
No, they didn't. They had the bridge just shut down still when we were there.
Oh, were you in the UP?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big
okay, cool.
UP
Yeah. The
people.
Stew is like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Stew is like right there. Yeah.
We was right.
So if you go into
right.
Yeah.
We went to a cafe there that was right there on the canal, and it was just an upstairs downstairs type deal. And they sold cod. They had whitefish and all this stuff.
You like that place?
I thought the food was really good. It was just a
Really?
plain Jane cafe, and I thought the place we ate at in Mackinac City, on the inland side, not on the island, that little place we ate at.
No.
You didn't like it either?
Mm-mm.
I thought both of them were really good. Just plain
It's just
Jane
fried fish. I don't see what the fascination with it is.
It's just plain Jane food.
We
That's what I'm saying.
We got good catfish here in town.
Ugh. Catfish is not on the same level with that stuff.
I don't like fish all that much to begin with.
I like catfish.
Yes, delicious.
Well, good. You and Andy can have
I like
catfish. I'd rather have walleye or whitefish.
I mean, I'm not.
It's funny.
I go gaga over it.
I mean, whitefish is good. Catfish is good. I think there's a lot better fish than catfish or whitefish. But
like what?
Actually, I was talking to a buddy of mine today. Halibut.
Halibut?
Is that what Long John Silver's has? Watch this. Is that what Long John Silver's has?
I think so.
They got the best fish in the world. Long John Silver's.
Yeah, I like black cod. There's another one. Someone's gonna call me out on this one. It's called lingcod. They're like the ugliest fish you'll ever see in your life. If you Google a picture, we go. So I have a buddy of mine who like ice fishing is like he's amazing at it. He like maps the lake during like when it's open in his boat, so he finds like shoals and spots, and you can go out with this guy, and he's on fish all the time. So we went up lake trout fishing with him, and then he's like, all right, so tonight we're going to go linging. So I am overserved.
Yep, been there.
And because I hate ice fishing. It's boring as shit. Sitting looking at a hole in a hut, like what else do you do other than like overly consume? Right. Like there's nothing else to do. I don't care what it is. Somebody's going to say, oh, it's so much fun. Like, you have no personality if you are that into ice. Sorry. I don't care if that offends you. Like,
it's a drinking sport.
Like, if you want to sit there and watch, like, that's it. It's a drinking sport. If you're like out there just like be with the boys or be with your friends and like crush as much possible, great. I'm into it. That's how I want to do it. But if you take it seriously, like fuck, I don't know. We have to have a conversation about it. So anyway, so we go linging. So I'm drunk as shit catching these lings, and I'm just ripping. Like we're ripping lings out of it. And there's like no limits on these things. Like I think we took like there's like 3 or 4 of us. I think we took a bunch. I'm not gonna get in trouble in case there is a limit. But yeah, we took a. I don't think there was. I mean, we weren't over any limit if there was, because I mean he's a game warden. But
threw him under the bus.
They're like the best.
And what'd you do? You just filleted it like you would a normal fish and cook it that way, or did you take them whole?
Yeah, filleted them, lightly cured. No, yeah, we filleted some of them. I lightly cured a bunch of them and smoked them, and then just like flaked them in like soup. And one of them we did them in soup. One of them we just like basically roasted them in a cast iron pan. They're delicious. Deep fried a bunch of them. They're just amazing. They're like black. Have you ever had black cod? Like that fatty. They like flake into
Jeff
big
would
chunks.
Be the one. I don't know that.
I don't know if I have not.
Yeah.
We had 3 of the best meals that I've ever had up here this year. We had a guy make. Was it jambalaya he made?
I can't remember.
It was chicken. It was fucking damn good. We had 2 of those, and my favorite meal that we had, because we have guys that cook here all the time. We got a lot of coon asses, and they're the best cooks in the world. But I had a guy from California. Devin made us ceviche.
Yeah.
And I love ceviche anyways. That's my favorite meal in the whole world.
What fish was that?
It was bluefish. Or bluefin.
Yeah.
Bluefin.
Tuna. Yeah. Tuna ceviche. Yeah. It's good for sure. I love ceviche.
Oh, it was so good. Or yellowtail. No, it was yellowtail is what he made the. Yeah, that's
because
that's a snapper, right? Okay,
yeah,
I think that's what he made
snapper.
ceviche out of, was the yellowtail, and then we've got a bunch of tuna still left here.
Really?
To grill.
You'll have to do it.
Me?
Well,
I'm not
you
grill
can.
no fish.
Oh.
You can do it. Andy's the griller. I don't know how to fucking cook shit.
Yeah. Andy,
geez,
you got the Traeger, bud.
I do make a salmon, and it's got a jalapeno candy sauce. It's fucking delicious. Let me see if I can find it. But I was gonna ask you, what are some different ways that you can do salmon rather than just smoke it? It's kind of
smoke it. You can gravlox. It's called gravlox. So it's basically like you heavily cure it and then dry it out and slice it and then eat it. Like it's raw. It's like cured, like really cured. I like that for salmon.
Is that what they call the candy?
No, candying it is like you add like you like cure it and then you brush it with something that like a really thick. Like you can make like maple candied salmon. So you cure it and then slice it and then brush it and like glaze it kind of thing, and candy it that way.
So when you say cure it, like just with like that pink salt type shit, or just like with kosher salt?
No, that's nitro salt. You don't usually you use a blend of like salt, like salt and sugar, and then you pack it with all of your like aromatics. So you get like peppercorns, lime leaves, lemongrass, fennel seed, coriander seed, like lime zest, anything you pretty much want to want to do it with. If you had take beets, like red beets, and juice them and mix that into your cure, you can actually stain the top of your salmon to make like red, like the top of it would be like red.
And that's just a visual effect. If you do that,
it gives you a little like that sweet sort of earthy beet flavor, but like you mask it with so much other stuff. But then when you let it cure for 3-4 days, and then just kind of rinse the cure off of it, put it up under somewhere on like a resting rack so the air can get to it, and then like have a fan that's sort of indirectly blowing over it. It'll dry out, and then you slice it like really, really, really thin.
So let me ask you this: is there something that you don't like to eat? Because I don't like cilantro. Mm-hmm. So if I had to cook something that has cilantro in it, just because it goes on.
How do you make chimney?
Let me see. It doesn't have much cilantro in it. If it's parsley, I'll find it here in just a second. But if I had to make something with cilantro in it, like heavy cilantro, I'd be like, I don't want to taste this shit.
Do you get the soap taste?
And I wouldn't like it anyway to know if it was any good or not.
Do you have the soap taste in your mouth?
I don't know. It's just a weird flavor.
10% of the population has the enzyme in their mouth that.
Yeah,
and I'm one of those people.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
Are you? There's not really many things. I'll tell you what, like, I'm pretty unpicky when it comes to things, like, especially if somebody else is cooking it. There's certain things, like, I'll never order if I'm out to eat somewhere. Like, I'll never order a beef tenderloin. I hate it's not my thing. I've actually, you know what I bought this summer was I bought a full-size bone saw. So it's like a bandsaw. And we have a big fridge, so we dry age like bone-in ribs and then cut them, and we like bone-in rib steaks, cut big fucking bone-in rib steaks. It's pretty wicked. I bought it for a song, like I bought it off a place that was.
So this chimichurri, it's parsley, oregano, garlic, olive oil, vinegar, red wine vinegar, kosher salt, black pepper, red pepper flakes. That's it.
Yeah,
but I don't. There's no cilantro in it.
I had salmon the other night. I had salmon sendero, which is salmon in a white wine cream sauce, and it was very good.
Yeah,
I'd never had it that way before. It was really good.
You have that going on the menu, actually.
That's on your menu.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yeah, we're doing it's a classic French dish. So like we're lightly curing, and then cold smoking the salmon, and then you roast it. And then underneath it, it sits on a bed of like creams, like leeks, celery, fennel, and that's like the sauce underneath it. So that we open 2 weeks.
So dry aging.
It's like hearty winter.
Dry aging beef. Is that horse shit, or do you enjoy the flavors and stuff?
I love it. I do. I really do. It takes a lot. Like if you have anything that if you have any of bad bacteria that gets into it, it multiplies like crazy and it gets really shitty really fast. We did picanha.
Yes,
I don't know.
I've seen it on Instagram, but I've never seen it in the stores here.
It's like a top sirloin. It's a top sirloin. So when you cut that muscle in the top sirloin, that long muscle that's on the bottom, where underneath the fat cap, it's that muscle. So we took that and then we rendered some beef fat and we soaked it in the rendered beef fat, when it was almost at room temperature, so it would harden on it. And we dry aged the picanhas in beef fat.
They call that beef tallow.
They turned out really, really.
Isn't that something else they call it, beef tallow?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, beef tallow. Yeah, so we just rendered beef fat and then we dry aged it in there. That was really, really good. Dry aging is one of those things where if you can't just open it and put it in your fridge.
Right.
That makes sense? It's something you have to actually sort of know what you're doing to be able to do it. Ooh, actually, my timer just went off. I've got goose sausages in the smoker right now, or snack sticks and summer sausages.
The best way to do goose.
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Well, hold on. He's telling us about dry aging. Or do you need to go get that stuff?
Yeah, so dry aging is one of those things it's fine. It'll go into a holding. It's just one of those things where you have to really know what you're sort of doing, because if not, you're just gonna get something that tastes like shitty fridge.
Yeah, because you got to have fans and stuff in the fridge too, to circulate the air.
You gotta have fans. You have to have fans. You have to have a humidity. We bought it's called an Inkbird system. I don't know if you guys talk about brands and shit, but we bought this thing. It's called an Inkbird system, and basically what it does is it controls. You plug your fridge into it for the temperature one, and then it makes micro adjustments to your fridge. So it basically controls your fridge compressor. And then there's another part of it that you put a humidifier and a dehumidifier in the bottom of your fridge, and the Inkbird system will control that. So the Inkbird will turn on and turn off the humidifier and the dehumidifier to keep the humidity level in your chamber under control. So you want to be able to control that. You want to be able to control light exposure. You want to be able to control bacteria. So like making sure like the cavity or the fridge that you're using is clean.
Have you ever eaten dry aged beef?
I don't think that I have, unless I think that place I went to in Miami that charged me $75 for the steak. I think technically it was dry aged, but I didn't notice.
Did y'all eat at Peter Luger's?
No, we didn't eat at Peter Luger's in New York. But how many days do you notice like, okay, this is good, it's been in there way too long, it's not been in there enough? Is there a sweet spot for you personally? Yes, you personally.
Personally for me, I'm like a 60 day, that 50 to 60, 65 days, depending on like sort of the type of steak, and the muscle. Like, I think certain things do really well in it, and I think certain things don't do really well in it. I think if you're going to dry age something like tenderloins, they don't do well in it
just because there's not much fat to break down in the first place.
There's not much fat to break down. You're not really like you're compromising the structure, like the muscle structure of something that doesn't have much strength.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So like the picanha was good because the top sirloins are really used muscle on a cow. I thought those were really good. The ribs, bone-in rib steaks are really good. They did really, really well in there. But tenderloin, we tried a tenderloin and it was just kind of like sort of anticlimactic. It was like, this is just soft.
And it's already like, soft to begin with.
Yeah, like what are we accomplishing by doing this? Nothing. Like, are we taking this product and making it better? No, then let's not.
So there's a place in New York, I'm trying to remember. I saw it on YouTube. They dry aged it. But she was like talking about how like you can get that rotten, or not rotten. She didn't use the word rotten. Kind of this, blue cheese, mushroomy type flavor. Yeah. I don't think I would enjoy that.
Yeah, very umami. It's not like when you think about it, like what's that, like not like that penicillin-y sort of like thing to it. It's like, it sounds pretty gross when they describe it like that, but it's like a very like, so you trim the outside of the meat, right? Like that's the first thing you kind of do. You trim the outside of the meat. Because you want to get rid of the really mank shit, but that fat gets this like nutty, and when you say like blue cheesy, it's like really like rich, like mushroomy blue cheesy. It's not like that like penicillin like gross part of it, like inoculated blue cheese.
You haven't said anything that made it sound good to me.
So why do certain meats take on like this picanha? I never heard about it 5 years ago. 3 years ago, I never heard about it. What happens to where everybody all of a sudden wants to try this?
It's like one of those things that got super trendy because it's like bigger in other places, like in Brazil and stuff like that. Like if you were like, hey, you can have any steak in the world right now, like what do you want? Like I'm never gonna pick a gun. Like I don't think it's that good. I don't think it's that exciting. But we had them from something else. They were a byproduct of something else. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's age these. Let's see what happens. Yeah. You know what I mean? But it's not like, it's like one of those things where it's just like that trendy thing right now. Like there's muscles that have been like inside, like up inside the cavity of a cow that were usually just like thrown into grind. And then someone was like, no, like we cook that this way, like different parts of like in Central and South America, like that gaucho style, like they cook different muscles and stuff. That it just became sort of trendy when those places came, like sort of moving into like North America and that style of food where people saw it and they're like, oh, this is amazing. I want to cook this at home. Because people think, oh, I can do it. It's super easy. Like skirt steak is one of my favorite things in the world. But if you cook skirt steak badly, it's the worst thing in the entire world. Just because it toughens up? Like if you overcook it, it toughens up. It like loses its moisture content at a certain point. It's like, it gets really, really hard. You got to cook it like really kind of slowly and like not overcook it. But then if you undercook it, it like it's kind of gross too because it doesn't have that. Yeah, it's mush, but it's chewy mush. Does that make sense, right? You need that caramelization on the outside of it, but you need to not take it too far.
So you have to hit medium rare in the proper order for the skirt steak to be worth a shit.
Yeah, exactly. And if you take it too far, like medium or medium, you're good. Try to get into that medium well, like there's no point to me.
Do you have a hard time? I probably asked you this. You see medium well come across the ticker, and you're like, I can't do this.
Faze me. At one point in my life, I did, but then somebody explained to me where, like, that's their hard-earned money that pays your wage. So, do you really want to complain about that? And I was like, no.
Cook them.
I don't.
Cook them what they like, and maybe they'll tip big.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, cook them what they want, and hopefully they come back.
Let me ask you, if you were on Beat Bobby Flay, what's your dish you're going to cook?
If I'm on Beat Bobby Flay, what dish am I going to cook? I don't know. I really don't
know.
Show
amazes me.
I'm going to go Wellington, man. I'm throwing out a Welly for sure.
Can you do it in an hour, though?
I've never seen
time. It's a time limit.
I have no fucking idea.
You got 1 hour.
I think it's an hour.
Might be 45 minutes.
I don't know. I'd probably make lobster bisque.
Lobster bisque.
Yeah, I'd probably make a lobster bisque because you can throw that down pretty quick. Make like a broken puff pastry, throw it in the oven, bake with a puff pastry on top. It looks pretty badass.
Put the lobster claw in it.
Oh fuck yeah! I'd load it with lobster. Exactly what I would do.
I want to do a lobster roll this summer. Yeah.
A lobster roll? Hell yeah, I love lobster rolls.
And it's pretty easy, isn't it? I mean,
very simple.
Very easy, but it's very hard. It's easy to do. It's hard to do well. A lobster roll has three or four really main components you need to nail. You have to cook your lobster perfectly. Perfectly. You need to have a really good sauce with it. You need to have something to balance that richness. We use shaved pickled fennel and I don't know, other stuff in there. And then you need to get the right bun. The bun for a lobster roll to me is the thing. You got to have the right sort of hoagie bun, cut it the right way, toast it the right way, brush that thing with lots of butter, get it caramelized, almost you're cooking a grilled cheese. That's how it needs to be. Crunchy from that, and then the rest of the bun needs to be soft. I love that.
That's the problem, though. You said it right there.
It's easy to do. It's hard to do well.
Well, no, the bread. That's with all sandwiches. I had a lobster roll in somewhere on the East Coast this fucking fall, and they brought out a goddamn fucking 6-cent hot dog bun. I was like, what the fuck? You're spending
But see, that's what you honestly, that's what I want. I want that hoagie hot dog, soft,
no, this
chewy
was not.
bun, but I want them to flatten it.
No, this was the one that you got at the last roll. No. Everybody had bought all the fucking hot dog buns on 4th of July, and this bitch was in the very back. It had been there for 2 months. It was not very good. But the rolls, that's the key to any sandwich. I love a big sub sandwich, but I want a big soft bun with the bread. But lobster rolls, and so you said you're going to put a sauce on it, you said?
Well, it's that mayonnaise sauce.
Yeah, you have that mayonnaise sauce. You have to have something to toss your lobster into, otherwise it's gonna just sort of fall out. You can't just put raw a cooked bland lobster. Lobster doesn't have that.
No, you can put
we can all agree lobster's good. I like lobster, but what do you like about lobster? The fact that it's tasty, but it's dipped in so much fucking butter.
Delicious this way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Lobster is great, but it's a luxury ingredient that's been sold to us as a luxury ingredient. I went to the fishmonger the other day. I was going to get lobsters for dinner, and they're they're $27.99 a pound. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to the red snapper. Thank you very much. I think we're good.
I got lobster tail for Valentine's Day, and it was $30 a tail, I think. I got 2 of them. Wait, I think it was $20. I'll have to look at my receipt.
Damn, son, you already got 2 kids. Who are you trying to impress? What are you trying to pull off?
The kids love it. The kids love it. I'll do it.
I like it. I like lobster, and I've made poor boy lobster rolls at home, and I use I use Miracle Whip and a little bit of celery and a little bit of sweet pickle, and that was it.
Okay. So sweet pickle is the same idea, right? We use pickled fennel, pickled fennel with pickled something else in there too is really nice. Lots of fresh herbs dill, tarragon.
I didn't go that far.
Onions, well, yeah, I mean, fuck, man.
I grilled lobster on the grill, chopped it up, put some Miracle Whip in it, and I put some celery chopped up real fine for some crunch, and I put sweet pickle and put it on a good Hawaiian.
Wait,
Hawaiian hot dog roll.
You grilled your lobster?
I grilled the lobster, and I
You're not supposed to.
Yeah,
for
that
the lobster roll.
Why not?
I don't think that's how you're
why
supposed
not?
to do
Why?
it.
He's a chef. He said there's nothing wrong with that.
Is that legal?
Sure, why not? Sure, it's legal. It's an acceptable move. At least it's got a bit more like flavor to it, right? Like the most places would be like, oh, you have to steam your lobster roll because that's what we've been doing on this fucking island for the last 900 years. All right, cool,
Let
man.
me tell you something.
All the
On the 12th
in a region when it makes sense. If it makes it
I was
better.
on the 1200th block of 3rd Street in Knox City, and I was the only fuckers eating lobster that night on there, and I liked it. Nobody else on the street complained about the way I was making lobster.
There you
go. What's wrong with it grilled? Grilled lobster.
Jeff, just like he said. That's how they do it on the island, so that's how you got to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You get to the East Coast and they're like so like hard and fast about like how they have to cook their lobster. It's like, all right, cool, but is it good?
That's true.
Like you blanched it in salt water. Like you went out to the ocean. You got a pot of salt water from the ocean. You cooked it in salt water, and I'm like, yeah, great. That's how everyone does it. Is it better than another way? Like, is there a technique that we could use to make this better?
Well, I don't ever boil when I do lobster at the house. I do it in the oven or I do it on the grill. And in the oven, I wrap it in foil, put some crack open the shell. I put butter in it, put whatever. Usually I put Old Bay seasoning in it or Tony Chachere's because I like it, and I just cook it in the oven. Yep, and it turns red and it's ready to eat. And that's the way I do it. I don't ever boil. So you're boiling your lobster dome?
That's how I'm going to. Well, no, the lobster tails I'm going to cook on the grill. But for.
Well, that's the same thing. I wasn't buying a whole lobster. I was buying lobster tails, and I made lobster rolls with it.
That's not legal either.
Yeah, it is.
Rory, you're not helping me at all. It's got to be the whole lobster. You got to run the knife through its brain and you got to do.
Oh, see, yeah, that's how we do it at the restaurants. You split their brains open, you crack them, you take their arms off, you separate their. So when you do a batch of them, I separate the tails, pull the insides apart, see if there's any of the roe. If there's the roe, we save that for something else. Save the bodies, and we make stock out of like we make lobster bisque out of those. And then you separate the two different claws because they cook it for two different times. And then the knuckles. So you separate everything, take long wooden skewers and stick them through the tail so that when they hit the water, they don't curl. And you only cook them just enough because you can't pull lobster meat out of the shell unless it's cooked a bit. The meat will stick to the shell. It's an exoskeleton, right? So it sticks to the shell. So you have to like free it up, but you got to cook it for long enough that it unsticks from the shell, but not trying to cook it all the way through. So then we pull it out of the water, shock it, peel it all, save the bones, make stock. But then depending on what we're doing with it, that kind of how we treat it goes.
How much can you tinker with a classic recipe before it gets like disrespectful? If that question makes sense.
It does. Like there's certain things where I think people fuck with too much sometimes. I mean, I think as long as you're like keeping. So I'll give you an example. Somebody, I did a private birthday party for a client of mine. We did beef Wellington. So we did half tenderloin, and then I like slow roasted beef short ribs, pulled the bones out. And when I wrapped the tenderloin, I cut the tenderloin in half. So I wrapped half a tenderloin with a piece of short rib. And then you like mushroom XL, prosciutto, wrap it in a crepe, and then in the puff pastry. And his mother-in-law told me that it wasn't a beef Wellington. And I was like, okay, you win. Sure.
But it was
he
good.
loved it. They loved it. But like, she was like, this is good, but if this isn't a beef Wellington, I was like, okay, cool.
All beef Wellington is meat inside mushroom, inside prosciutto, inside puff pastry. So, I mean.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
So that's the thing, right? Like, I don't know. I think you can have creative freedom to a certain point, but I think you need to sort of like have the base ingredients. Like it has to be meat and pastry, usually a whole muscle. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really get too bent out of shape about things like that. Like, it's funny because I was listening to a food summit thing, and an older chef was talking about that. Like if it says this, it means this, and this is what I want, and this is what I expect. And it's like, okay, like you're kind of curmudgeon-y, but is that the hill you want to die on? Like if somebody makes something that's good, that's like maybe they've used the wrong wording, is it going to ruin the whole meal for you? Really? Like, all right, man, cool. Like live your life.
So is there like a cutoff of age? Like you said, like you got this older guy that's like, okay, if it says beef Wellington, it should be this, 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 and this. Is there like an age kind of like to where you get to the younger guys like you are that are kind of flirting with that line of, well, let's see what else we could make it?
Yeah, like, and like I've definitely it's kind of knowing your audience. Like, I'm not gonna do anything like that if it's a group of older, like more like seasoned chefs. I'm definitely gonna stick to more of the menu. But like a guy that I work with, he took this play on like fish and chips. So he called it fish and chips on the menu, but it was like an appetizer, and we did basically a really, really nice smoked salmon like dip, and then he served it with like different colored fingerling potato chips, but it was delicious. So it was like fish and chips was like the play on words. And he kind of got his like hand slapped for that one by a bunch of people. They were like, "That's not fish and chips." I was like, all right. Like, I thought it was kind of clever.
It was gonna be cod.
Yeah, like they thought it was like you need to have like beer batter and like really terribly big, overly like undercooked big French fries. Serve it in an old newspaper, and by God, if you don't do that, I'll kill you.
It's not.
Like,
you know, going back to the old stuff though, we had growing up in Wichita Falls, we had a McDonald's and we had a Burger King. They didn't have Whataburgers in really, but you had local hamburger joints. We had a place called Big Scott's or Scotch Drive-In, and we had Gene's Tasty Burger. And they served in the old wax paper with old grease just melting off of it. And it was one food source because the meat, the cheese, the vegetables all were just one big gooey mess. And they were the best hamburgers in the world. And it's kind of like the fish and chips. I guess the people that want fish and chips want the old-fashioned newspaper and stuff. When I go to Wichita Falls, I still want an old-fashioned cheeseburger like I had growing up. And you can't find stuff like that hardly anymore.
Yeah, I'm with. We have a couple places like that. I like those old school fish and chip places that are like really that do it well, that are really good. I like those places. Like if they have a really good batter. I feel like I've never found a fish and chip shop though that does all three well. Like you need good fish, you need good chips, and then you need good tartar sauce. I always find like every fish and chip place either has like good fish and good tartar sauce, but shit chips. Or good fish, good chips, shit tartar sauce.
I like the malted
I'm still
vinegar.
I'm still looking.
That's what makes fish good.
Yes, you have to have malt vinegar with that. Hey, do you guys mind if I just take you for a stroll? I got to go back into the restaurant and just pull out my stuff.
Take us.
I have to put my mask on. Are you going to make fun of me?
I am.
No, but I understand. You got to do what you got to do.
All right,
but I understand the rules.
I'm going to have to put my mask on.
No, you put your mask on. I'm not going to jack with you.
No, fuck it. You've broken my heart, Jeff. The fear of you making fun of me.
Have you been to the UK and England and all that whole area?
Yeah, I have. Ooh, these look good.
Let's see them. What do they look like?
Yeah, we have.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Baby.
That's goose sausage?
That's summer, and then this is like the peppers.
What's the difference?
Well, summers are like the big ones. These ones are just like goose snacky sticks.
Oh yeah, I like those. Those are good in the blind.
I have been eating goose for the last 4 days. I'm not, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but Andy has got some sausage that he made that Jesse brung over the other night.
I didn't make it.
Where'd you get it from though?
Steve Barber.
That stuff's good.
Yeah,
I've been eating it, and it's goose.
It's got jalapeno and cheddar. I mean, how bad could it be?
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with jalapeno and cheddar in a goose sausage.
But I'm watching on Amazon Prime, Clarkson Farms, and it's Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear that's on BBC. Anyway.
Yeah.
He's funny, and he's got a farm in Cotswold outside of London, and the guy that was running it retired. So Jeremy's like, "Oh fuck it, I'll run it." And anyway, but like just seeing like the little old town in England with, the pub and place where you can go get fish and chips. But you say even over there, you haven't found a place that does all three of them well.
No, never. And maybe it's just because like the tartar sauces they use I don't like. I don't know what it is, but I've never been able to find one where I'm like, you know what?
This is the one.
You guys doing it. This is the one.
I don't know.
And it could be me. It could be literally just me. Sorry, I dropped the wrong. I tied these on the wrong rack, and now there we go.
Tony, you make coffee?
Part of me thinks I would like going over there, but another part of me, I don't know.
You would. You'd enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
I would love to go over there and just drive around. That's my dream trip, is to go to Scotland and Ireland and drive around the countryside and go to those pubs and stuff. Would be
you would for sure.
Amazing.
It's the best. London's amazing.
London is?
Oh yeah, London's an amazing city. Like if you get past like, it's like anywhere, right? Like there's people you probably don't want to talk to, but if you get past that, like London's incredible.
You know where I want to go if I go
to London?
I want to go to Harrods.
Harrods?
I've always wanted to
Harrods is really cool.
I would like to see it.
Harrods is really cool.
What's the one restaurant that you still have got to knock off of your bucket list? It sounds like you've hit all the high spots.
One that I've got to get off my bucket list. There's a diner in Knox City that I got to go to.
You got to teach me
After I go goose hunting down there, I'm going to the diner.
Have some.
Yeah, exactly.
Have some.
I'm going to walk in there with Clay Reed and say, hey, listen, dickhead, poach me some eggs.
Poach me some eggs.
There you go. These are the ones we make.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Yeah, those are good blind snacks right there.
Yeah, that's exactly the point.
We had a guy. I kind of felt bad. He had them done, but he was sharing them with everybody, and I didn't get the memo. So
who?
Somebody that we had earlier, but I was outside the blind whenever he said, hey, if anybody wants these, they're here, and then. Of course, Blake heard the food memo, so he was chomping down on them, and I walked back in the blind, and I'm like, fuck, that would have been nice to know. And they were all gone.
Blake didn't share you one, huh?
No, he didn't.
Those ones Blake made were real good.
Yeah.
Those were very good. Hey, new Netflix show I'm watching.
What?
It's called The Gilded Age. It's on. It's not on Netflix. It's on HBO Max. Man, I was so excited.
Oh, you have everything, don't you?
Hey, he's bumming pains.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the freeloader account. He comes home for Christmas. He mooches off me all the time, and he put our new TV up, and he's got HBO Max, and on it says freeloaders, and that's for me and his mother to use. So, anyways, we started watching it, but I was so disappointed because it was supposed to be a whole season. 2 episodes is all. Oh. So now we got to wait every week for a new one to come out. Yeah. Great show if you may want.
I hate that.
Me too, because I would rather watch it all at once.
All at once. I'm gonna wait. I'm not like signing. Do you remember Entourage, the show?
Yep. Yes.
So that was I loved that. I was in like college. That was my show. I loved it. They would do that every week bullshit and wore me the fuck out. And then that's when they got bad and it's like, oh, I waited all week to watch this for 22 minutes.
I want to watch Pam and Tommy on Hulu.
Oh, me too.
But it's a weekly deal. 8 episodes, so I'm going to wait until
it's over.
Till it's over. So it started the 2nd, so April.
You let me know. You can send me your Hulu password because I'm not buying any more streaming service.
Oh, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna do the week long free trial, binge it, and then cancel it. That's my game.
Andy's tighter than shit. The only streaming services he has are the ones that I pay for.
No.
Which one do you have your own now?
Peacock.
So you've got one.
Peacock, YouTube TV, and Amazon Prime.
Mm-hmm.
You use your Amazon Prime now?
Yeah,
well, good.
We have an Amazon Prime.
I didn't know that.
I've never used your Amazon Prime.
Well,
this is the best part about having a family. Everybody buys one, and then you have access to everything. I 100% Disney. I Democrat that off my brother-in-law.
See,
I think my Netflix is even my sister-in-law. We just pay her for it.
God bless you. Did you hear me say he Democrats that off of? That's my favorite term now.
I got it from you.
I say it all the time, boy. That's my word.
Oh, I know. That's where I got it from.
Democrat.
You've affected my vocabulary.
That's good. It'll probably get your ass whooped somewhere. It almost did me at La Brea Tar Pits. Thank God I had a Mexican to throw to the wolves.
Just throw him to the bus.
Hey, before
I'm fast for a big guy, so I just run away.
Before we let you go, would dry aging goose breast or anything, would that be beneficial to it at all, or is that kind of like?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did that the other day. A couple weeks ago, do you know on a goose, like the front? So we pluck the front and then cut around underneath the wings. Mm-hmm. And then cut through the ribs.
Yeah.
So you basically have like what's called a crown.
Yeah.
And then I hang that.
And then you just for
dry
60 days?
10 days.
10 days?
It's 60 is a little bit much. 10 days.
10 days for goose.
10, and just roast them.
That's it?
Crisp that skin up. Yeah. I'll send you a photo of it when we get off of here. It was delicious.
Rory, my friend, I appreciate you being on here with us again. If they ever get rid of this stupid jab rule, I'm going to come see you.
I'll tell you what, it's coming to an end.
You think so?
Yeah, it is.
I think it's going to be, I think within the year it'll come to an end.
Because of the truckers or just because everybody, because I've been seeing all over Canada, people are coming out into the streets and protesting.
Fucking Europe.
Yeah. It's getting crazy though. Like we had lockdown. They had a lockdown in Montreal. They had a curfew. Just the world is getting crazy. I got to turn it up.
Well, I'm gonna come see you when it opens up. You're going to see my fat ass drive up there one fall and look at the leaves and come see you.
It's going to be a race. It's going to be a race. Either I get to Texas Or are you guys done hunting then?
We are.
Are you finished?
We ended on
Is
Sunday.
your season over, or is it still open?
It goes to the 13th, but I don't think there's a whole lot around.
I saw
Nothing, eh?
I saw about 3,000 to 5,000 birds the other day. The calendar. I told the guy the other day, he goes, y'all ain't got no birds left. The calendar. By this time of year, they're going north.
Yeah. Well, we're still holding birds, but it's not. Up until about 2 weeks ago, we have I have a power plant really close to where we hunt, so we have a warm water discharge. So they sit there, but I'm nervous.
So what are you gonna do? Snow. Are you gonna do you go out like early morning, or is it so cold up there still that you can go out like midday and do it?
Last day of the season, we went out. I think we met at 12:30.
Yeah.
12. I think noon. We met at noon, and we were done by 2. We shot a 13-man limit.
What's the limit on that?
5.
5, and you shot a 13-man.
Yeah. We shot. Yeah, we had a 13-man.
65, Jeff.
Yes,
65.
I'm proud of you. You got that right.
I got it pretty quick too.
Yeah.
And one band.
One bando. Where from?
One band.
Not a minor.
No, it wasn't a minor. Actually, I sent you that picture of those miners, though. There's a guy who he hunts, I think, like close to the sanctuary. Mm-hmm. So there's an early season up here in September. It's like the nuisance season, or I don't know. It's not nuisance season. We get an early season and a late season because we have areas where you can't hunt on Sundays.
Right.
And he basically advertised it as your best opportunity to kill a miner. Mm-hmm. And a buddy of mine, they went out, and I think they shot 9 or 10 miners.
Wow. I would be the one guy that goes out and doesn't kill a miner. I'd be the one.
I mean, you killed 10 birds in that season, so it's pretty good. You'd kill one. If somebody was going to kill one, they'd probably make sure you got one.
Someone sent me the guy that runs the Jack Miner Sanctuary's number one time, and I've lost it. And if anybody knows it, get it to me. I'd like to have him on I'd like to try to get him on the podcast with us.
I bet we could find it.
You know what? I'll reach out to them because I talked to them about helping them out with something. So I'll shoot them a message and see.
I appreciate that, bud.
Yeah, I couldn't care less about bands. Like I had a lanyard stolen that had a bunch of bands on it, and I think that was the only reason it got stolen. So I didn't even we shot that band. I didn't even go into the band draw. I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So, like,
you know who says that? Somebody that shoots a lot of bands.
That's right.
Us poor. We didn't shoot a single band this year. Not a one.
I saw 5 die.
Not a single one.
I saw 5 die.
I didn't even. Most of the time, like whenever we drive by, we'll kind of see a net caller out in the field or something. I didn't see a net caller this year. I don't know. Weird year.
Yeah, I'd get excited about shooting a net collar because I've never even seen a net collar. I actually want to shoot a speckle belly. That's what I want to do. I'm coming. That's
come see us anytime, bud.
I know. I want to. I've been saying that for years now.
Well, and then the whole world shut down. So I mean, it's not entirely. It's not entirely your fault. For 2 years.
It's not.
I mean, the podcast is 3 years old, and for 2 of them, we've been in lockdown. So right? Cut yourself a little bit of slack.
Yeah, it's true. We were supposed to go to Arkansas, but this year, we were planning a trip to Arkansas, and then it was like, the border's kind of sketchy, and like, yeah.
Well, they got electricity now. The whole state does in Arkansas, so they're in good shape. They're getting with the times.
I heard that they don't though. I heard there's still parts that they don't own electricity. They don't have running water. They're still like horse and buggies, and they're doing everything by moonlight. So I don't know.
That's probably true. That's just dental work they do there like that.
Yeah.
Rory,
let's piss everybody in Arkansas off. I love it.
Fuck them.
You have a good day, my friend. We look forward to having you on here again. If anything we can do for you, let us know.
Likewise, anytime. I love you.
Whenever I do this lobster roll and stuff, I'm going to reach out to you. That way I don't fuck it up.
Yeah, man. Shoot me a message.
All right.
Let me know.
Sounds good. Stay safe up there. Good luck. When's your season open back up?
26th for a week.
Oh, that's right. All right. Well, shoot them up. Send us pictures. Love you, bud. Bye.
Will do. Bye, bud.
All right, Rory White.
I love Rory White. He's a good dude.
Yeah, he's a fun guy.
He is a fun dude. Every Canadian I've ever met at a resort or anywhere, just like him.
Like him?
Good guys. They like to have a good time.
Yeah.
Get
out there.
They're not all figure skaters.
Listen, you cannot talk like that, Jeff.
Yes, I can.
You can't talk about Olympians that way. You just need to do your thing and shut your mouth.
I'm predicting right now that the Olympics will be a big bust on TV.
Oh, of course it will.
Huge bust. All that money.
It's the Winter Olympics. No, does anybody watch that anyway?
I would rather watch the Winter Olympics as a chance someone's going to crash on skis.
So would I. But if you look, like it's.
I don't know which one has better demographic. That I don't know. I know that if I'm going to watch something, I want to if I look through there and they've got some kind of like downhill skiing or something like that, I'll watch it. Curling is my favorite thing to watch because that's a fat boy sport. It's like bowling,
Yeah, everybody feels like they can participate.
Yes, and so. And when we were in Vermont, I saw some curling centers.
Was Tokyo? See, I don't know what year they're on now.
It's on 2022.
But are we back to normal now?
I don't have a clue.
So
all I do know is that the place.
Because the Summer Olympics is every election year.
I'll tell you one thing I did see.
So I guess we are right now.
Yeah. Tony, put that taco soup up too.
This says Tokyo Olympics ratings plummeted.
Yeah. They one of the things that I saw today was they did a POV video. It was on YouTube or something of a guy going down the downhill course, and they don't even have snow where they're doing the downhill skiing. It's all man-made.
Really?
Yep.
What was it? Do you think that there was? I think it was in China. It was right after they went communist or whatever. They like spray painted all the grass super green, and they like got all the homeless people off of the street and all the starving people off of the street.
It was in Beijing. It was before this happened. They wanted to clean up that area, and they're doing it also somewhere else for the Super Bowl. It's in Los Angeles.
Yes,
they're making it. They're trying to make it look like there's no homeless problem.
Did you see that one meme that says if you can have the Super Bowl in LA, there is no pandemic?
Yes.
Period. Drop it.
Yes.
It's fucking true.
Yep.
The NFL cured COVID.
Yep.
I mean.
But well, hold on now.
They did.
Garcetti, the mayor of Los Angeles, he held his breath when he took his picture with
Oh.
What a twat.
He did that. Who was it? Was it Magic Johnson that posted all those pictures?
Yeah, and Garcetti said he was holding his breath.
It was him. It was like Rob Lowe. It was some former CEO of McDonald's. It was the mayor of San Francisco.
Rob Lowe is got the cheesiest show that's on TV right now.
911?
That is the dumbest shit ever.
You watched it?
Oh, I watched it one time. Never watch it again. But they go so far.
That was at least what was good about Rescue Me.
Austin, Texas.
That was at least what was good about Rescue Me. It
was a good show.
It wasn't over the top on a lot of stuff.
No, it was real life.
The way they depicted the firefighter.
Yes, no, that was a good show. Firemen would like that show.
Right.
Now, there's not a fireman out there that watches 911.
911.
It's the stupidest shit ever.
Do you think you could work as a 911 dispatcher in like a big city? I was watching that one show, The Guilty, on Netflix with Jake Gyllenhaal. Whew. Some of the stuff that comes across your desk.
Oh, I mean, I could if I needed to.
Be
if
tough.
I make a living doing it.
Yeah, but I mean, you get this lady on the other end of the line, and there's somebody in her house, and you're just, I mean, to me, it would be a helpless, you'd feel helpless a lot of the times.
Oh, I think you would be that way a lot.
Like, ma'am, just please stay on the line with me. Help's on the way.
Yeah.
If you can defend yourself, defend yourself.
Yes,
but
that would be very hard to do that job. Your mother thought at one time she wanted to be a social worker and work for CPS.
No way.
And I was like, fuck that shit. We'll have 15 fucking kids living with us by the end of next month.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell. Do not do that.
No, you'd go into some squalor.
Oh, fuck.
It's kids have been
people I know
chained,
that do that job.
chained to the bed, and they've been shitting in a corner for a month.
They got to go in there and just start shooting fucking people that do that to these kids.
There was a kid that died recently. I mean, it was in the last year. Died because his dirty diaper hadn't been changed in 3 months.
That's crazy.
So maggots like crawled inside of him, and he got a parasite.
Sick fucking world we live in. All right,
but I mean,
let's get off this subject. This is depressing.
But anyway, I watched that show, and I was like, man, that, you see the 911 with Jennifer Love Hewitt, and it's all okay, whatever. But you watch The Guilty with Jake Gyllenhaal, and you see some of the calls that he gets, and you're like, oof.
Me and Mom watched Cry Macho. With Clint Eastwood's movie.
He's like a drug mule, isn't he?
No. That's called The Mule. That's a good one too. Now this one here, it's a good show. It's not a bang up, shoot 'em up show. He's a washed out old trainer. He's 90 fucking years old.
Can you believe that?
It goes down to Mexico, and he gets a kid who's guitars, Cadillacs, hillbilly women, hillbilly music. Dwight Yoakam, is in it with him, and Dwight Yoakam has him go to Mexico to pick up his son.
This was on HBO Max, I'm assuming?
I don't know if it's on or not. I don't know. It might have just been a regular fucking, I don't know. We watched it last night. I think it's a new movie. It's a good show. Really good show. He had a chance to make this movie in the late 80s. And he said, I was going to I put it on for later on. Some bitch was in his 70s and played. I'll just wait till I'm late 60s. He's 90s now. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, they was going to offer it to him, and they offered it to Clint Eastwood instead. So
he got in a bad accident.
Who?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What happened?
Fucking flipped his SUV and I think he ran a red light and got T-boned and did a couple flips and landed on top of somebody's Prius. You just see his big ass exchanging insurance information with these people.
Well, if it hit him in his ass, it might have killed him.
He's the governor.
No respect for that guy at all.
But you look around, and I was thinking about this the other day when I was thinking about Brady retiring and Roethlisberger retiring. I kind of thought the same thing about Hollywood. Like, we're kind of recycling a lot of these actors from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and there's not the big
it's because they still have a draw.
Blockbuster star.
No, they have the draw still.
But, like, like Brad Pitt could headline a movie tomorrow,
yes,
and it would do well.
So could George Clooney.
George Clooney could.
So could Robert Downey Jr.
Yes. All these guys that were big 30 years ago.
Old.
Yeah, like what are we going to do? Which, number one, like movies in general have taken a hit in relevancy.
Matthew McConaughey.
He's a big star.
Samuel L. Jackson. John Travolta. But they're all old.
But in the last 20 years,
I don't know any new actors.
We've seen any of these big, like, look at the fucking Avengers, which are the biggest shows ever. You got Robert Downey Jr., you got shit, I can't even think of it.
Well, the new Batman's coming
Helmsworth. Out. He's relatively
See, I don't even know who that is. And if I saw him, then I would be like, oh, okay, I know who he is.
Yeah, you know who he is because he was in a Netflix show that we watched.
But I don't know.
He was the Extractor, maybe is what it was.
You know the movie I watched with Cry Macho? There are a couple of people on there have been on Narcos movies and Netflix. And that's where I knew them from. I said, I've seen, and it was the Netflix. But you don't.
That guy. He's Iron Man. Or, no, he's not Iron Man. He's Thor.
Yeah. But Payne explained something to me one day because I was telling him, I said, I don't understand what the hell is with all these damn comic book movies are such big hits. He goes, because they go overseas and they're huge overseas too.
Right. Yeah, with Extraction.
I said, that makes sense. You know, that was a good show.
Yeah, it was a Netflix show.
Yes. But you there's not the big shows, the box office guys no more that are coming out. Like, has McConaughey made anything lately?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he made The Gentleman, which I actually really liked. It was a Guy Ritchie movie, and I kind of like that shit.
But you don't see very many shows that come out now that are huge box office deals because a lot of them are streaming movies now.
Right.
Like,
yeah, Netflix has kind of changed the way we do business now.
Like Adam Sandler, he had to deal with Netflix. His movies were horrible that were on there.
Did you watch the Sean Payton movie with Kevin James? I started it. Yeah, it's the year that he gets suspended for the year. Mm-hmm. I guess he went back to Argyle and helped his son's football team. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I started it. It's got Kevin James on it. It was decent.
That's a show they could not have out today now. King of Queens.
So Matthew McConaughey, he's done Sing 2, which I'll have to watch it, and The Gentleman in 2019.
But I watched King of Queens the other day, me and Mom. We've been snowed in for 3 days, so we've watched more TV than we have, and hunting season's over now. We watched King of Queens the other day, and we watched about 3 episodes. And I go, they can't make this today. They're making fun of gay people.
Yeah. Make fun of everybody.
Well, but everybody had a sense of humor.
Yeah. But anyway.
All right, let's get off of here. Y'all have a great week. God bless y'all. Thank you very much for listening. We do appreciate all the downloads. If you want to hunt for next year, I'm serious as a heart attack. If you want November dates, you better holler at me within the next 2 to 3 weeks because they're going to be gone. I don't have a lot of dates left anyways, and I've got a few dates left in November, weekdays left. I think I got Thanksgiving weekend. I have one group opening left there. December is going to be the same way. So if you've got certain dates that you want, you're wanting to bring a big group of people, you need to let me know something pretty fast. Anyways, thank y'all for listening to us. God bless y'all, and have a great, safe week.
I got to go build a snowman now. Check out all of our sponsors. Check out Shin Gear Waders, Dive Bomb Industries, Bosch Shot Shells, Pacific Calls, Steak Plains Meat, Dirty Duck Coffee, Lucky Duck, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Gun Dog Outdoors, Bangtail Whiskey, and Stanfield Hunting Outfitters.